You hate me yet? I hope you're seeing that I'm not just tearing your speech apart, I'm also giving you some compliments too where you're doing awesome stuff. Let's see what else we got. Hey, let's go.
I sat in my office just astounded. I actually cried a little because it was like, I've been given this gift and here it is. This is the shape of a great presentation.
Okay, good. So, Nancy, what would have happened if. Oh, Poopy Pants McGee, what happened?
Patience and overlay it, and it should be true.
So, here we are, breaking down Nancy Duarte's The Secret Structure of a Great Talk. And what we've seen so far is some good things and some things that we could work on. And let's see where we go from here. We just finished off with like the speech structure for I Have a Dream and Steve Jobs' keynote about the iPhone and how they have the same structure. And she's probably, we're going to see that structure now, right? Pyramid, hold on. Yeah. I bet you anything it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, like up and down, up and down, up and down. I bet you anything, because that's what everyone says. First, you bring it up a climax, and then you bring it down, and then you raise the energy, and then you bring it down. That's what everyone says. That's what a good, like, if you're a good MC and a good host, you can't keep the audience like this the whole time, and you can't be like this the whole time either, right? What you have to do is bring it up and down, so that you have somewhere to go. Let's see what happens here.
So I took the obvious. I took Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and I took Steve Jobs' 2007 iPhone launch speech. I overlaid it over it, and it worked. I sat in my office just astounded. I actually cried a little because it was like, I've been given this gift, and here it is.
That.
This is the shape of a great presentation. Isn't it amazing?
Okay, so I like this because it generates curiosity, because now I want to see what these things mean, although I'm pretty sure it's just going to mean up and down like emotional roller coaster. But Nancy, what would have happened if, suppose you showed us the triangle of this is what a good story, like this is what a good story is supposed to look like, right? The 5-act structure. Then you showed us the line for a normal presentation. This is what most presentations are like. And then you showed us this, so we can see the journey as well. And then we are practicing what we're preaching, Nancy. With that being said, this is a great visual. And I love that right now, I get it, but I don't fully get it 100%, which means now I have to listen to you. So you got me here.
It's crying. So I want to walk you through it because it's actually pretty astounding. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I want to walk you through it because the greatest communicators of all time, I went through speeches, everything. Actually, I can overlay the shape. Even the Gettysburg Address follows the shape.
I'm just going to bring it up one more time. It would have been great to have had like just a practical, like a day-to-day example that we as day-to-day communicators can use.
So at the beginning of any presentation, you need to establish what is. You know, here's the status quo, here's what's going on. And then you need to compare that to what could be. Now you need to make that gap as big as possible.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to say it here because this is all going to be in third person. I'm almost positive it's just going to be in third person. Then you have to find this thing. And then you got to find this other thing. And then because it's all this generic third person stuff. Nancy, what would happen if we juxtapositioned? I hope that's the right word. We compared that with a specific example throughout. I'm going to see if I can think of one after I get a better sense of what you're going. Maybe you'll think of it, but maybe not.
The commonplace of the status quo And you need to contrast that with the loftiness of your idea. So it's like, you know, here's the past, here's the present, but look at our future.
So first you have to establish what is. Every single boring you go to, 95% of every meeting you go to is super boring, and it's nothing you couldn't have read in an email, and you wonder why you were there. Every single presentation you've ever been to, 9 out of 10 times you'd have been like, oh, I don't even know. I'll just read the notes later. It's fine because all the information is on the slides. What if, that's me with the what is, and then this big difference that she's talking about. What if people were excited about meetings they were excited about watching a movie? What if, and by the way, I like to use, when she says, if you want to use a specific tactic about what could be, I love what if statements, because it's a great rhetorical device that allows you, that allows the audience to get their specific example, right? Because they'll put it, versus trying to explain what if could be, you say, what if, and then one quick little sentence and just let it sit. And I say, what if every presentation was as catchy as an infomercial? So and then if I wanted to go next level, instead of, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I would have found an actual presentation, like maybe a pitch for YouTube, right? And what currently is, videos are always emailed and put into spam folders. Let's go back to like the year like 1998 when YouTube came out, or whenever it came out. Spam folders. What if there was an entire internet dedicated to videos, and instead of sending huge files, all you had to do was send a link? What if anyone could make videos from their laptop without equipment? Something like that. And then we could, throughout the, I'll keep bringing up YouTube again, maybe see if I can apply this structure and give you specifics.
Here's a problem, but look at that problem removed. Here's a roadblock. Let's annihilate the roadblocks. You need to really amplify that gap. This would be like the inciting incident in a movie. It's when suddenly the audience...
The inciting incident in a movie? Just say, it's like when you watch Christopher Nolan's Batman, and it always starts off with someone about to rob someone and Batman kicking butt. Like, you always know it's going to start off within the first 10 minutes with like a cool action sequence.
The audience has to contend with what you just put out there. They have to say, wow, do I want to agree with this and align with it or not? And then the rest of your presentation should support that. So the middle goes back and forth. It traverses between what is and what could be, what is and what could be. Because what you're trying to do is make the status quo and the normal unappealing.
So I guess that was a little...
And you're wanting to draw them towards what could be in the future with your idea adopted.
Oops. So what I was going to say is, I guess I don't know if that's an emotional roller coaster, because here's the thing. I have no specific example. I mean, everything you gave me was just these general kind of examples without specifics. So I'm like, okay, what is and what could be? What is and what could be? What is and what could be? So what if we use our YouTube example? Imagine if she did this. After she did that first example and she goes back to what is, right? So right now, the average video, I don't know what it was, is like 20 megabytes. If we want to make a little 2-minute funny video to send to our friends, it's like 20 megabytes. Email can't accept it. Remember, we're back in like 1998, right? It's super hard to send by email, or the quality is terrible. But what if it was 1 megabyte and anyone could get it no matter where you send it to? And then I go back to another what is. Right now, if I wanted to have a bunch of videos, I'd have to save them on a computer, and it would eat up all my storage space, because I love all these videos and I want to watch them when I want to, right? But what if I could have 1,000 videos that I could watch whenever I wanted, and it took up 0 space? So that would be me trying to apply her structure with specifics, and I think that's what this presentation could really use.
Now, on your way to change the world, people are going to resist. They're not going to be excited. They may love the world the way it is, so you'll encounter resistance. That's why you have to move back and forth. It's similar to sailing. When you're sailing against the wind and there is wind resistance, you have to move your boat back and forth and back and forth. So you can capture the wind. What
a great analogy. And then again, if we just had a specific here, whether it was my YouTube example or any example, this would have had so much more power.
You have to actually capture the resistance coming against you when you're sailing. Now, interesting, if you capture the wind just right and you set your sail just right, your ship will actually sail faster than the wind itself.
unless you can explain what resistance is in a practical context, or even in the two examples from Martin Luther King's speech or the Steve Jobs thing, why not use those? If that's your example, why not use them so we get an idea of what that actually means versus this just general concept? So, for example, imagine if every what is halfway through your speech was someone who likes what's happening now. Um, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to use the YouTube example just on the spot here. So, what could be resistance to YouTube? What could be resistance to YouTube? Right now, we all have privacy, but if we make accounts and put all these videos out there that anyone can see whenever they want it, don't we lose some privacy? So that could, I guess that's what I'm using, right? And then I use my next what is to kind of address that thing, and then say what if. And I could say, but if we can control but right now we have no control over what information about us is on the internet. It's going to happen no matter what. But what if we could control that information by sharing only the things we want people to know about us? What if we communicated our personalities and our interests through the videos that we like? Versus having someone find out our phone number. What if we could have an online persona versus someone knowing our real name and address? Something like that. And I'm just going back to the YouTube example just because I'm trying to show you, dear viewer, that if you're ever going to present and you catch yourself using all this theory and third person examples, you need to anchor that with a very specific day-to-day that everyone can understand and empathize with. Something that everyone does or uses. That's how you'll make your presentations more impactful. And that's all this amazing presentation needs to be more impactful, because it's good. It just won't impact anyone. It won't change anyone. At least not yet. But we're only 8 minutes into a 20-minute video. We'll catch up with Nancy in the next one.